Hello, welcome to Get on the Ark. I'm Darren Conrad, and I'm here with a good friend of mine. He's going to share his story, but it's kind of cool. Like you know people, and you come across people, and you think you know them, and then you hear about their stories, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. So this guy has an incredible journey, an amazing story. Ryan Smith, welcome to the show, and tell us about your journey.
Thanks for having me here, Darren. Well, I guess I could just start from the beginning. There's no, um, I was born also and raised in Ohio.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just kind of a normal upbringing. Me and my family, they're. I grew up in a Christian Missionary Alliance Church. I don't know if you know what that is, but yeah, I grew up there from day one. We grew up in Ohio, and my family just kind of like a regular middle class family. Nothing crazy. When I hear other people's growing up stories, I'm like, how mine is very vanilla. Growing up. But I was kind of a kid that got in trouble a lot. I got, like to cause trouble. Got kicked out of school here and there, things like that. But, eventually, I graduated high school. There's a lot of problems in high school. I thought having fun was why I was there. So, I got into these things called raves and everything. And, uh, that was the start of a problem for me. I got arrested when I was like 17 or 18, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with my life? Everyone's going to university, and I was not interested in that whatsoever. So I joined the United States military when I was 17 years or 18 years old, and
Was
after I graduated.
when in your childhood, like when did you start drinking or?
Yeah, like just there in high school, really. Well, man, I guess a little bit, like 15, 14, a teenager. I started drinking just to fit in. The first time I ever drank was, I think we were drinking like 151 Bacardi rum. And, we were all just sitting around, and one thing led to another. We were passing out and throwing up on ourselves. So that was the very opening to my substance use and kind of drinking for a long time. And I guess I was having a good time because I got arrested, and I was sent to AA and had a probation officer when I was about 15 just from the first time I threw up on myself. So you think that would have scared me into being, staying away from the partying scene, but it just drew me closer, and, more friends I met. What were we doing? We were doing ecstasy. We were doing acid, all these really mind expanding drugs. But, I didn't ever think I was an addict, don't alcoholic. Probably, but I would just drink and throw the bottle under my bed, because back then in Ohio you can buy a bottle of liquor in the store, it'd be like 30% or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of how I started out, just kind of partying crazy as a high school student, not thinking anything of it. You know, uh,
So join the army.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like, what are you gonna do? I don't know. I joined the army. It sounded kind of cool. I had a military family. They all joined the army, so I was like, that sounds like the right one. So
Yeah.
I like to think myself as a pretty tough guy. So I had to be in a job also that sounded tough. Computer analyst just wouldn't cut it. So I got on the tanks.
Yeah.
That's and went to basic training.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, thanks,
Like,
man.
I mean, that's
Sure. Yeah, my pleasure.
so how old were you when you went in the army?
I was 17 years old.
Okay.
I think I just turned 18, something like that. So I mean, I was going through basic trainings, like with the training and the initial boot camp. It's about 6 months. So I had a birthday there. 18-year-old, new to the world, and that's where I kind of thought life would be okay.
Yeah.
I get your act together. Thing is about army life, you work hard and play hard. Play hard usually means party hard. So it's a big thing, get together with everyone else and just drink. And we drank a lot because we worked a lot, we trained a lot, and I was in there for almost 7 years in the Army, and there was no break. And well, there's a break when we got sent overseas, but my drinking I felt obligated to drink at times, and also felt like I deserve this. I think a lot of guys in the military, they think that like there's no problem here. I work hard. I'm serving the country. I do what I want. And thing is, the monkey on your back doesn't change because you're serving your country. And I've been overseas twice. The first one was 2003 in the invasion of Iraq, and we went over there, and it was to me it wasn't a big deal. It was just a job. It was just what we did. I came back. First week, I met my wife, our ex-wife.
Yeah.
And from there, a whole new kind of world changed for me. From being a single guy to we got married pretty quick, and my son, who's he's going to be 18 soon. Less than a year, and in about a year, it's time for coming back from Iraq for my first tour. It was time to go again. So I had all the things I thought that I wanted at that time in my life, a kid, wife, and all that. But anyway, I got sent over there in the middle of all that.
Okay, so you went to Iraq, first tour.
And then we left again a year later.
But then you came back, you met your wife.
Yeah, I met my ex-wife, and we had a kid within that year too.
Okay. So,
that was great. That's what I thought I wanted in life. But I went over to Iraq, and for the second time, things, with all the politics and things going on over there, it got a little hairier. And then we did one good job. So we'll say, hey, put these guys, they're veterans over there now. So
yeah,
the whole thing changed. It was a lot scarier. But one significant event when I was over there, there's a handful of events that you can imagine that changed my life drastically. Was every other morning we go on a patrol down to like Karbala, or there's a bunch of little towns out there. We just see what's going on and try to help. So this morning it was like 7 a.m. Just random morning, and we were just rolling out, getting the stuff packed into our Humvees so we could go on a patrol. But we were out there about half an hour, and there's these things called IEDs that they put in the roads, and they just kind of hide behind things, and just like you drove. They hide them under the highway sometimes. So, I mean, it's really you don't know when it's going to happen. So it's not like hand-to-hand combat and we're shooting and they're shooting. It's just a most anxiety-filled kind of way to go through a really messed up country at that time. Anyway, we're on this patrol, and out of just nowhere, just explosion. And it was my vehicle. We ran over one of these bombs, and I can remember every part of this, so I'm going to try to break it down.
Yeah, please.
All right, the first thing when the explosion happened, time immediately stood still, and I grew up, I wasn't sure if God was real or that, and let me just slow down. The initial explosion, time stopped, like slow motion, like you would see in the movies. I've seen this before, right. But the first thing I remember was frantically yelling and screaming. I grabbed this radio and contact. Obviously, contact. We'd just been hit this explosion, and then we were spinning in circles. What I remember doing before we went on that patrol was locking these doors. It's called the combat locks. So they lock from the inside. Of course, they lock from the inside, but it's like double locks. So, when we're in the streets, there's a lot of people just trying to open the doors. I never thought that was a big deal because, you can, there's ways of people backing up if you understand, we have weapons and shit.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it'd be necessary to double lock a door. So I didn't. the explosion happened, and while we were spinning, these doors opened, and I didn't know what to do. I mean, like I said, this was slow motion, and then the first thing I remember was a life reel. Like that's why I didn't know what was happening at the time. But my whole life up until about 23 years, I was 23 at the time, which was just swirling very slowly and like a movie inside my mind. Like I remember being a kid. I remember significant events as a adolescent and a teenager and all that. My unborn child, even I was picturing that. All these things were just happening slowly, and I slowed down. I don't. The last thing I remember was that, and then the next thing that happened to my conscious awareness was I was standing on a cliff-like uh, a mountain. The mountain. That's what I think it was. This happened in 2000. It was January 17th, 2005. Yeah. So it's just been the new year. Um, and where I don't know where I was. There was someone on the side of me, and there was these two beings in front of me on this cliff of this mountain. The mountain was like a crystal. You've seen crystals, but it's like a ginormous crystal coming up the ground, like sparkling and all this stuff. And these two beings, I instantly knew who they were. One was my grandfather, which I never met. He died, I think, in the 70s. He got electrocuted in Chicago, but he was a World War II pilot and great guy. I've heard. And then the other being that was shining really bright was my son, which hadn't been born yet. He was in utero with my ex-wife at that time. And then I don't remember a lot of what we were talking about. I just remember kind of being upset with wanting to stay because they were saying you can't stay. We'll see you again. And I remember like pleading with them, like, hey, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And I don't know who else was there except for my family members. But the next thing I knew was that moment, and then the next moment was complete chaos. I woke up on the side of the highway in Iraq, and there's something was on fire, and I just remember just screaming because I was back in this reality, and the thing that really got me was this moment of peace, complete peace. I felt like I've never felt this way, It was like I don't know if it was a connection or just being. It felt like I was being loved or emitting love. It was the most genuine, loving feeling I've ever felt. I mean, and I'm only 23. I don't know exactly what love is, and the only greatest feeling I ever had was from an ecstasy pill, yeah. And that's the only thing I could think in my mind. What is this like? After that event, I got medevac to a hospital in Baghdad, and from there, I kind of didn't talk about this event ever again. I thought about it a lot, what happened? But from there, I kind of played it off in my head. I was like, this is just what happens when people die in a traumatic experience. It gets I told myself the scientific reason is the brain is getting the body ready to die. And that's what I saw. I saw hallucinations possibly. I never said God was there to save me, even though everyone around me was, my mother and all my friends and family were like, this is a divine intervention. This is God, who I did tell, but I didn't believe it then. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe I internalized it as I was upset that I left. It was, and then, well, the thing is, this happened in 2005, and since then, I got sober, and I've been drinking and using drugs like excessively since then. When I came back from that experience overseas, they put me out of the army and everything, and I didn't know what to do. I was there, and the VA, they'd help me, but they'd also help me by, oh, here's a bottle of Xanax, here's a bottle of Percocet, without question, because they just look at my records and be like, all right, I didn't really need them, and I was drinking to oblivion every day, but I thought I had a control over it. A lot of things happened with my family, my son and my ex-wife. Then we moved to Florida here, and I moved my whole family, just hooked on Percocet and Xanax and drinking, and I moved the whole family down to Florida, and I got involved with school. I thought I was going to do that for a while, but it was just fueled by the pills, and I put myself in rehab to get off them, and I did. I got off the Xanax and all that stuff, but the thing is, I didn't stay in the recovery for more than a month. I put myself apart from everybody. I thought that I didn't have a problem with drinking. I had a problem with medications, and that God, that part of the recovery, that part isn't for me, because God, if there's a God, I thought He wouldn't take me away from this experience that I saw. So I thought I was an atheist for a long time, and everything that went with that. I'd had to argue with people just about their faith, and I was miserable. I was miserable because I didn't have that faith. Maybe they had a connection I didn't understand. Maybe I'm too smart for my own brain, whatever it was. It took till 2021, right after when we were all locked down in our houses with COVID or whatever. A little bit after that, I finally something happened to me that I couldn't deal with. I couldn't drink through. My children were about to be taken away from me for some situations in my life that they're obviously unmanageable. I didn't think so. But I didn't think I would get through it. And I ended up coming into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous just so broken, so just without anything. I was hopeless because I didn't think I would get to see my children in the capacity that I knew that I needed to be with them. I take care of my children all the 24/7, basically. Me and their mother don't share custody. I have all the custody, and that's hard on them. It's been hard on them, but I'm there for them now. But I couldn't be there for them when I was drinking, using, because I thought I got it, but I didn't have it. They got taken away from me because my delusions of, not having, just on self-will riot, just, there's got to be something more than that. And when I did get into the rooms of Alcohol Anonymous, there's a lot of things in there that about a power of your own understanding, and that I could roll with, because God, when I hear the word God, I hear judgmental things, or I used to. Yeah. I hear church saying, the politics of some different religions, whether it be Christianity or Judaism, or they're just so. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why some people can be loved and some people are sinning. I understand the concept of sin, but it's just the way it was put to me in life. I just couldn't grasp it and feel like I was being loved. So when I heard a power of my own understanding, and I could grasp that, I don't have to go along with the book written here and what this church is saying. Me and God can just be. And that was enough for me to start with. I just didn't know how to talk to him, though.
So initially when you went down the path of recovery and you decided, I'm done with alcohol and drugs, right. Like, did you think, there would be life after that? Or did you, where were you at, when you came into recovery? Were you thinking?
Well, when I came in, I just wanted the heat off my back, okay, so to say. I wanted to show somebody who's in charge that I could stop drinking. I'm a good guy. I'm trying to see my children, which I was, but that's all I wanted. That was good enough.
Yeah.
If things were just still shitty and I could live my life how I wanted to be,
Right.
what I didn't know is how good it would get. So,
What? How,
oh,
so how? In terms of the journey of recovery, I know you've been sober for a couple of years.
yeah, 2.5 years.
Almost 3, right? 2.5 years.
2.5 years. Yeah.
So what? Like compare like the beginning and how you've changed, and maybe how you think now as opposed to how you thought about 2.5 years ago.
Oh, well, when I came in, I didn't know how to. I knew that I didn't have to follow the God of the church or whatever. But I didn't know what I was following, so I had to really sit down and watch other people how their faith was being presented to me, or how I can see understood it through my eyes, and eventually is being honest and making a letting go is the biggest thing for me. I can't let go. I have to be a tough guy. I just have to get it. And I don't think that God, my whole life I thought God was just something sad people needed to feel better. And they didn't want to die and be nothing. But I don't know. I see that there is something in that experience that I had in over Iraq wasn't just a hallucination or whatever I thought was happening. It was more than that. I think I just kind of rebelled because maybe I felt something that was so powerful that I didn't want to come back to this pain, because it is pain here, But when I realized what my past had happened in my past, when I came in these rooms, I used that to help me find my higher power. And it's a very personal experience and personal relationship. I mean, but the thing is, I didn't think I could ever have that. I thought I was different, apart. I thought I already made my decision. There's no God, so don't try. But I just being willing and open, it was more than I ever imagined. And now I try hard. Nothing's perfect, I try hard to keep on this path with God, because I know that He sees me, and I know that He's with me here and in me, because it's the smallest, when people say they have these God moments, I still think that's personal, but I have these all the time.
Oh yeah.
Whether it be like, just see the same synchronicity of numbers over and over. I see that every single day. I see synchronicity of numbers, whether it be on the highway exit or on my watch or whatever, on the cell phone. It's so powerful that I can't, ignore it anymore. So, I don't.
What's your number?
Oh, I see 111 a lot.
Okay.
It's weird. And
yeah.
But I just, for a long time I was like, that's just some woo-woo weirdness, and you guys are weird,
Yeah.
People that believe in faith, it's not. It's powerful. It's something that I didn't think that I could ever even understand, because I thought I was too smart. I was like, wish I was ignorant so I could enjoy that. It's the best thing that ever could have happened to me is God revealed Himself in a way that I could understand, because I'm a know-it-all. I'm a knucklehead, and that's how I walk with Him. I keep on trying to experience things, because life was good. Now life is getting better, and more than I ever even imagined. I was okay with just not being in jail and just having a little bit of happiness. But now I know what true love and happiness is, and it's still being revealed to me,
Right.
So
what do you say the biggest change in your life is because of a result of living a sober life?
I do have my children now. I used to tell my sons, like, don't ever do this, don't drink. I have a past because, I've been through this and that and the other, which is just ridiculousness, Now I can actually be a father to my son and my daughter, and even despite all the hardships, because I mean, drinking alone is, I mean, I know now it's just, that is just so selfish to do to your children, especially if I'm a single father. So a lot of things, the biggest thing is just being awake now and becoming aware of my own nonsense that I create and the chaos, because I would, it's perfectly fine just destroying everyone's life and mine as long as nothing big happened, I guess. So the peace is the biggest thing, having peace within me. You know what I mean? So
What would you, for people out there that are, maybe, fighting that battle of I can't quit, or, they maybe they just need to hear a message, what would you tell somebody, if they're in that, that maybe they just don't know how can I quit drinking? Everyone's drinking. It's, or,
well, I mean, I know what it feels like to like be part of, or not be part of, but I mean, if someone feels that they're screwing up their life and they don't know how to quit, just the way I did it was I went into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous because I don't really know where else to go. I mean, I know it's you just sit there, but it's not just sitting there. I went there, and when I went in there, I met somebody, and that was God. At first I was like, what a coincidence. This guy he's a genuine nice guy, and he cares about me. Turned out to be my sponsor, the first guy I met in the rooms. And that's how you do it. If you want it, you go get it, and you do everything that people say you should do, like to get sober. And connecting with the higher power, that's what I really do think is the key to it, because I tried it before with my ego and just I don't need this, I can take that and that, the other thing, and then I almost killed myself and destroyed my life in the process. So get in and get connected.
Yeah,
it's the only thing I can say that worked for me.
Yeah, I can really relate. I can relate to the number thing. My sobriety date's 11/22.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the same year I got sober, really started that church 11/22.
It's awesome.
And in the Bible, Mark 11/22 is to have faith in God. And so that's kind of how I see 11/22 all the time. And God's, I think He knows how to talk to all of us individually, personally.
I think so.
And that's been kind of my journey. But the recovery program, the 12 steps. Because at first I was just like, God's just this big divine thing, and but the 12 steps kind of created a relationship for me, and because there are 12 principles, and you start practicing these different principles, you become a different person.
Yeah, to know you just go in and do the work, do what they say, and the magic will happen. That's what's happened in my experience.
Yeah.
So
how often do you think about this event that you blown up, you go to this place, this Crystal Mountain, and how often do you have dreams about it, or do you?
It did happen like 18 years ago now. I for the first 10 years, it's all I would think about. I would have like recurring dreams. These are good dreams, but I also have nightmares, and it was just hard to keep my mind focused on the good when I'm here just experiencing all these after effects of trauma like that also.
Yeah.
But
Wow. Well, anything else? Any last final comments you'd like to share with the audience, or maybe thank you for your story. Thank you for being a combat veteran and a patriot, and
sure, yeah.
Just a great guy in general. And I appreciate your friendship, and I thank you for the time. And for those guys watching, thanks for watching, and please join us again. Get on the ark, and have a blessed day.